What's going on YouTube? So in today's video, I am going to be going through, or I'm halfway through the session as it is, but haven't done an intro yet. I'm going to be showing you some conditioning work outside, doing some heart shock work with kegs, which is horrible. And that really did suck today and expose some weak points. And then into some technique log work, working through floor to overhead press, but without no dip and drive, so it's all strict pressing. And then into some accessories. I've been excited about this session today. I was keen to get into it. So enjoy the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment below. Let me know that you're following, and let me know also what you want to see next. Although that felt absolutely terrible during, and it highlights why I need to keep doing it, I am so bad at loading events. I'm not particularly good at all moving events, and I need to get better. I'm strong on farmers. I haven't done yoke in a long time, but I'm pretty confident that I'd be pretty strong at that if it's heavy enough. But at the moment it's about traveling or motoring for speed. My gas tank isn't particularly great, which I need to work on, but it's mainly the issues that I have around my ankles and my shins being so weak that you'll see on my third sprint, it just looked like an odd trot because the pain that I was in through my feet and through my ankles and through my shins is chronic. And the reason why that is because it's weak, and that's it. I'm just not good at it yet. So this is now going to be a staple, and I need to train it constantly, and I need to run consistently every week. And I'm thinking now that, like, even on a Saturday when I do my lighter bodybuilding session, I still need to do some sprints. So I'll be doing some sprints on Saturdays as well, just to continue to condition the ankles and the shins as much as I possibly can. So that's what we'll do. The only thing I am quite happy with is that my recovery afterwards is really quick. So, like, although I sound a little bit out of breath now, I feel really calm. My heart rate slowed right down, which is great. So that signifies that, like, my conditioning in terms of my recovery is good, but I still have that horrible panic state of feeling very unfit when I'm charging around. So I need to work on that and get that better and get more comfortable with it. We're going to do it again. I don't want to do it again, but we're going to do it again. My shins are on fire. Might be a little bit slower, and I'm okay with that, but I've got to work through these ankles. I've got to get them stronger. So we'll do it again, even if it's like jog, load, and my sprint is more of a steady run, and my loading gets slower. I've got to do this work. It's really important that I get this right. I hate how shit I am at this. So yeah, let's do it again. There we go. All right, so sprinting and all that stuff is done. That was horrendous. It will get better. Join me in 6 weeks to see that significantly improved. Now we're going to set up for log. I've just done Wenning warm-ups. Those that are into powerlifting that know Matt Wenning, I do that style of warm-up before all of my work. So it's 300 reps in total, 25 reps on 3 exercises repeated 4 times. And today I did dumbbell overhead press, standing, a tricep push down, and then a face pull for scapular retraction. I don't really need to do anything for my legs because of the sprints. So now we're pretty much good to start logging. The goal for today is a set of 6 floor to overhead, strict. So no dip and drive. And the reason I'm not including the dip and drive today is because I'm still nursing patella tendonitis in my knees. Oh yeah, we've got some tendonitis. You can tell it's off season. Comps have chewed me up and spat me out, but we're getting the work done nonetheless. I just need to go for a period of time of press and strict before I then start to think about push pressing again. I won't think about push pressing for a while, but I will need to be push pressing for comps next year, obviously. But I can develop some good shoulder power strict, and I can preserve my knees, and then I can start to rehab my knees and get my knees stronger, which that process has already started in the form of high volume leg extensions, running, MMA. Like, that's getting fast changes of direction in my knee, and that's healthy so far. But the next step would be to start including box jumps and broad jumps, and then eventually push press, of course. But we're going to build it all in gradually and make sure that when I get into all of that work, hopefully I can, and the goal is to have a season in strongman where I don't have patellar tendonitis in my knees, but we'll see. So I'll get the log set up and then we'll get to work. Big jump, big jump. So the goal for this today isn't so much about like rushing or speed, it's all about quality. I need to be able to lift much bigger logs, and I know I'm right there with it, that it's pending, it's coming. And a lot of the reason why in the past when I've struggled with like log for reps is because of inefficient reps, a lack of stability, and just having to work so much harder than I need to has meant that I'm gassing out quicker or losing power quicker. Learning how to be more efficient, making the log feel lighter, making the work feel easier means you're going to have more reps. And obviously a gas tank thing as well, which is big, and it's across the board on everything. I talk about conditioning a lot, talk about gas tank a lot, and I'm still the sort of athlete that can run circles around most when it comes to condition. But I really don't believe there's such thing as being too conditioned. So there's always room to be fitter. Like, if you think you're fit, you're probably not get fitter. And I know that there's huge gaps in myself where I can afford to be better and get fitter. So that's what I'm gonna do. Right, I'm gonna load this up to 110 as that felt good. We'll rattle off a set of 6. sounds a bit rubbish really, but just goes to show that like not everything you do in training is perfect or can be perfect, even though you're trying your best. Obviously the focus there was on quality, and I did 5 reps instead of 6, and quality was all over the place. I let a couple of reps spit me out. Seemed to get gassed really quickly as well. which means I think the mindset of taking my time also meant that I was moving too slowly. Sometimes if you're not moving with intent, like you're not being assertive about the load, you use too much energy, you gas out quick. So there's a fine balance between getting on with it and not rushing, and that's what I'll be looking to bring to next week's session. On the same load, that was 110 for 5, floor to overhead. Inevitably a miscount, which I'm sure you saw. I thought that was 6, turns out it was 5. But the 6th would have been there, it had just been sketchy. I even misgrooved the 5th rep and made it a hard press, but that's just more work in the bag, more work needed to make that better, and that's okay. Like, I don't get, one thing I really try to point out to people is I don't overthink too much, and I try not to get emotionally involved and get all upset by, the fact that that was meant to be a set of 6 and I did it for 5, and I wanted quality and it wasn't the best I could have done. Like, I definitely could have done better. Let's bring all that into next week's session. Like, it was 5 kilos heavier than last session, and it didn't feel 5 kilos heavier than last session either. So I just need to get on with it a bit more, which I'll be doing next week. So on the same load, I'm not going to chip that load, and then the next load after then I'll chip in 2.5, so it'll be 112.5 the week after, once I've hit that for 6 reps successfully next week. So nice and steady at this point. We're not in any rush, looking to work on weak areas and build on that. The cleans were lovely this time around. Last week's cleans, I felt like my torso was a little forwards, and this week I was a lot more upright, with my knees out, sitting into the clean, trapping it nice and high, squatting and then cleaning to really split that up and make it so the cleans felt light and efficient, and I just don't worry about the clean at all anymore. It feels really, really good. And the press was great, little misgroove on the 5th, but other than that, it just felt solid. The main thing I need to do, a really bad habit that I've got in there, is that as I'm pressing the log, I keep looking at the log. When I'm pressing, I'll lock it out. Once I know it's locked, I'll drop the log, as opposed to bringing my head through. So I got penalised for that in my last competition. It's something I need to work on. This is the 2nd session working on it, and straight out of the gate, I wasn't great at it again. So better after rep 1, but I need to be better again. So we take all of that, we note all of that, we go again next week. So into a couple of accessories now. I've got some dumbbell shoulder press to do and some tricep work. So let's get that ticked off. Well, I needed that set. That was 50 kilos for 12. Was it 12? Something like that. I got 8 last week. Yeah, 8 last week. So that's up 4 reps, because I will admit that up until now, that's been quite a humbling session. One of those ones that you learn a lot from, but feel quite negative off the back of. Just a bit of a, I wanted today to be a bit better. Oh well, learn from it, go again next week. But that's a nice win. It's nice to get one in there, to know that we are progressing, we are getting stronger, things are heading in the right direction. That'll be up again next week, I'm sure, and then we'll deload the week after. But needed that, I really needed that. Makes the session feel a little more worthwhile. It's nice when you catch your wins, you've got to get them in there, makes you feel a lot better. So wrap up the session, and then time for food. That concludes today's session. A frustrating one, I'll be honest. I'm definitely not going to be an influencer anytime soon. I really like to bring a certain level of intensity to my training sessions, and dicking about with this camera, trying to get it all set up. So first time I filmed and vlogged on my own training in a long time, doing the whole session, and yeah, far from fluid, very distracting, very frustrating. I've definitely found myself very locked in with my training recently, coming off the back of competitions, knowing what I want from myself next year and knowing that that work starts now has brought like a whole new level of intensity to my training sessions, a whole new level of focus, which just felt like that wasn't there today. And admittedly that's from buggering around with the camera, just being honest. So a bit frustrating. Took some wins across the board with accessories. Didn't film my last couple of sets because I just wanted to train, I'll be honest. I've got to try and find a balance between setting this camera up and getting to work, and being able to get a satisfying amount of work in with my training. I also recognise that training for me is also therapy, and it's always been a big part of my life in that sense. So sessions like today, although productive, feel really unsatisfying. So I've definitely got to find a middle ground there, because I also recognise, especially with this day and age, how important it is to document things and vlog things, and especially with what I do for a job. It's the part of my job that I dislike the most, but it's also part of my job I get the most reward from being able to reach out to new people and help people and educate people and get in touch with people and perhaps even eventually coach them. So yeah, it's important that I do it. I just need to get better at it, and flow better. But I think that's been the theme of the whole day. So some wins in there, some productive stuff. Until next time, guys, peace, love and cake.